And you are live.
Oh, we're live. Kevin, chug, chug, chug.
I'm trying to get a brain freeze. It's not working. I think
It's not working?
No, it's because it's not frozen. It's my 16th one. I just can't get a brain freeze.
I just keep trying. This was the closest thing that I had. I don't want to, we're not sponsored by Allagash. And that's also not what's in here. This is what's in here. Anywho.
You're trying to get one of them to sponsor?
What I'm trying to say is sponsors are welcome. Mike, what are you drinking, bro?
I am, I got my closest thing to a champagne glass. A lot of drinking in this episode. So I'm drinking a local IPA in kind of like one of those fancy stems beer glasses, as close as I could get.
Yes. I think that's what this is. If I could see you, I'd know that our glasses are similar, but I can't.
You mean I'm right beneath you, Kristen, though.
I mean, there you are.
Yeah.
Lovely stemware, looks great. When you guys finish your drink, so you're just gonna slam them on the ground and ask for more?
Another!
I value this glass too much to do so.
Yeah.
I don't think John cares too much about this. Also, like, do you guys have lipstick stains around yours too?
Yeah, but only because I had 16 of them, so.
Anyway, Kevin, pretend you have brain freeze. I'm going to ask you a question and you're not going to be able to answer it.
All right, ready? Hold on. Okay.
Who do you like better, Dave or Don?
Dave McKenzie or Don McKenzie?
Yeah.
Neither of them are names. Bob and Doug. They might be the only people who are watching us, so I will say Devon.
Ah! Roll the opening!
Roll the opening!
Long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristen. Oh yeah.
This is absurd.
And back to you.
All right. As always, I am your host, Kristen Finger.
And I am your host, Kevin Reagan, and we are here to talk about episode 3 of the Disney Plus series, Loki. The episode was named LAMENTIS. Chris!
Right? Yow.
What did you think? Do you want a quick recap? You want me to do my old school Remark recap?
Yeah, I think we have time. Go ahead, we just started.
All right. Hold on, I need my beverage, just in case.
Just in case.
All right. We have Sylvie returns to the TVA after bombing the Sacred Timeline. She heads to the Golden Elevators, pursued by Loki, that I spelled wrong here. How do you spell Loki wrong?
What is
I
it?
did. I managed.
Can I fire Kevin?
Yeah, I had 0.
Kevin, if it makes you feel any better, I spelled LAMENTIS wrong in the title. But I fixed it, so we're back.
Well, hold on. I will fix Loki. I just need to add myself an O, and we're good. He retrieves his knives in the TVA before they can fight. Rowena Ravenclaw, that's what I've started calling Renslayer, shows up with a couple of Minutemen and a lethal pruning stick, causing Loki to hijack Sylvie's tempad to help them escape. They end up on LAMENTIS 1 in 2077. Sad fact, I did some quick math and I thought, will I still be alive in 2077? It's possible, but very unlikely because I drink 16 of these.
Kevin, I also just want to remind you what a quick synopsis is. It's a little shorter.
As the moon's apocalypse is underway. With the tempad in need of charge, Loki and Sylvie have to work together if they want to live.
Wow.
That's great. Good synopsis.
Yeah. I mean, it's not everything, but
I do a lot of reading after I watch these episodes to see what like the other folks out there are thinking and stuff like that.
I thought you meant like Nancy Drew. Like you were reading.
I read
books.
Nancy Drew as well. Yeah, I mean that's my mystery solving side. But what I didn't appreciate was that a lot of folks out there think this is the weakest episode.
Yes. Yes. People say it's filler. And I was like, I found this to have so much information and I don't understand. But you're right. So many people had called this like a weaker episode, the weakest of the three. And
Right.
I think they've all been fantastic, but I definitely would not call this the weakest. Or with
Well, here's the thing. I think and spoiler alert, I talked to Kevin outside of this podcast. So friendship. I think I mentioned to you. Oh, there goes the gas burps, bubbles. So I mentioned to Kevin that I'm looking at like this series as just like one long movie. So to me, this was like the meaty part of the movie where you learn so much to allow for the next few episodes to be like go to crazy town, like it's earned. You know, God, I loved it. I loved it.
You know, there's one thing that I did read that I actually kind of agreed with, but I didn't notice it in the moment, and it was basically talking about the fights. Now there was the one fight scene in the TVA that was amazing, where Sylvie's like jumping off the wall, doing backflips and stuff. And I am not a Hiddle hater. I am not.
Is that a thing? You just started the worst hashtag ever.
Yeah,
No,
it's official, everybody. In the chat. Let us know if you are a Hiddle hater. Hiddle hater.
I really hope there are a couple Hiddle haters out there. Just because it takes all kinds. That's all I'm saying.
It's official. It's in the chat.
His fighting, his scenes where he's fighting have been really like not great.
What?
Again, I'm not saying Hiddleston. It's just like last week he fought with a vacuum cleaner, and
Okay, that's silly. That's silly fighting.
This week, before he got full on alcohol, his fights were all just kind of weird and like. That said, the action sequence at the end of this episode was the best so far in the series. It was amazing. That whole action.
Super fun. Agreed. I also disagree with anything you say negative about Tom Hiddleston.
I'm
Now,
not a Hiddle hater. That's great. Glad you're not.
during that fight scene, however, what did we get from Tom Hiddleston? But the hair flip. So I counted them 2 in this episode.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Kevin. Make a thing for that next week. A hair
We
flip.
don't have to, do we? It's all live now. We don't have to do
right.
produced stuff. This is fantastic. Mike, you're a godsend. That's all.
Thank you so much.
No, Loki is a god. Maybe Loki sent me. Maybe I'm a sent from Loki variant.
I feel like he could do a little better. I just feel
Wow!
I think I'm
you're
just
being
mean tonight. Yeah, I'm just mean tonight.
Wow.
You were a mean drunk. What is wrong with
That's
you?
what it is. You know, you get me all these pink drinks, and it may have been for the bit, but that's real booze.
Mean. So what I did, here's the thing. Again, I leave these episodes with 9,000 questions, and that's where I like it. I don't want anything answered. I just want to be open-minded, right? So my question for you, Kevin, and also Mike, and the viewers at home, is, do we assume that Loki knew where he was sending him and Sylvie when he sent them somewhere?
God, Mike, what do you think?
All right, let me turn myself back on. I want to quickly acknowledge everyone watching so far. So thank you for the folks that have already been chiming in. Jonathan Capel says, it was such a sick episode, wondering where the timeline is going to go from here. Maybe you guys can address that a little bit later. Jazz, our favorite Jazz, is in the house from Portland, sipping their Dutch Bros tea. That's their drink of choice. And felt like it was a bit also... agreed with like the majority of fans, felt like it was a bit on the weaker side, but still loved it. So we've got a little back and forth.
Hiddle hater.
It's well, I've started in the chat a battle of Hiddle hater or Hiddle hair flip. What's better? I will report back on that. But I don't think that Loki knew what if that comes back around and like that's the thing, like he was planning this the whole time. But I think one of the best lines in the in this episode was, "You just do things," or I'm not quoting it exactly right.
Yeah.
Or she says that wasn't a plan, that it was just you doing things.
Yeah.
And I think like that like exemplifies Loki, you know what I mean, to a T, that he, he's smart, he's clever, but or is it not? I don't know. Like, but it made me think about it. Like, is he planning ahead of time, or is he just doing things really quickly and cleverly, and that's his plan always? You know what I mean? Even if you think about this Loki, when he grabbed the Tesseract, he wasn't expecting that. He just popped into his hands and then he did something. You know what I mean? So that's my like thoughts on it. Same thing with the fighting. I think he's like I was glad to see a lot of his powers come finally around because he was stuck in the TVA for so long. So it was some cool Loki powers. But even those, I'm agreeing with you, Kevin, felt a little like, oh, did you like do those moves in this right sequence, like, you know, like a video game, or did you like just kind of decide to do that trick right now or that move? Anyway, the daggers.
That said, I would say this because I do feel I agree with you 100%. Loki's an improviser. Like, that's how Mike, Chris, and I all know each other. We met through improv, and he really does. He takes something, he embraces it, but he immediately makes it work. So to answer the question, I don't know, Chris. I don't think he sent them to LAMENTIS on purpose. He might have, but I don't think he did. We can come back to this in our theories topic. I also do not think that he broke the tempad. I don't think it's broken.
I don't either. I don't either.
Yeah, I think that was an illusion. And we'll come to something else, which I don't want to talk about until we get into theories. But, it kind of speaks to some of the magic that he used that Mike was talking about. I mean, he definitely used his magic, which was great because he showed Sylvie. It's almost the classic, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine. He showed, by doing the magic and disappearing behind her. And then ultimately she explained how she enchants people, which was an awesome moment. Both the two moments where they were displaying their power, her more so just explaining it as opposed to, I mean, she did attempt to use it, which I have that question to turn back on you, Chris. If they were to kiss, which would be odd because they essentially are the same person. We still are believing that Sylvie is a variant of Loki.
Right.
Would you be the non-Hill hater that you are? Would you be upset with that, or would it just be flat out weird that it's like, hey, this person?
No, I would be fine with all of it. When he leaned against the wall, I was like, what's happening? And then she moved in. I was like, what is happening?
So
and then that's the other thing. I feel like he wanted to let her try and do that because he knew that, like, I think he wanted to show her that, like, I trust you enough I'll let you do this. And then knowing that it wouldn't work. But that's, yes, they could have kissed. That would have been like softcore porn for me. I would have been, she is stunning. She is, oh my God. She's on my like top list now of like ladies I'd get with.
Maybe Lady Lokis, maybe Lady.
Yeah. So that's
question mark.
Because that was exactly, Loki explored that, with her saying, she said, "You're a prince. Were there princesses or other princes?" Mm-hmm. And his answer is, "Yeah, a little of both." And I'm sure that you were the same. And it's like, it's just this awesome embrace. We already saw gender fluidity with Loki, and it's again the perfect show in Pride Month to be like, "Yep, here's a character." So
the gorgeous lighting behind him in that moment was also like the Pride colors, and I was like, look at the director go! Like, I really liked it, and I don't know if you've ever watched this series that Zendaya's in, Euphoria on HBO. No. They were going to start filming. It's wonderful. Yeah. They were going to start filming, but then COVID happened. So they ended up doing like a bottle sort of episode where they only needed her and one of the other actors. And they shot the entire thing, just them, the two of them sitting at a diner together. And that's what this scene with them on the train felt like. And I think it gave us a breath to just sit there and watch them learn who each other is and also like relax and begin trusting each other. And I really liked it, like a lot, because both of them are, I mean, we know Tom's, at least I've known that Tom's a really great, just patient actor, but I've never seen her work before. So like getting to see them work together, I think the chemistry of just their patience was really like, give them an Oscar for a TV show. I'm still handing out Oscars.
I think there's an award. I think there's an award for that. I love that scene. I love when he says to her, "I can't go backwards on a train," and she won't give up her seat. And it literally was, even though she says, "Don't call me Loki," it was two Lokis.
It was literally, it's like, they both have middle child syndrome. Like they both, it's so cute when they like interact like that together. Because it was the same thing where, when he was like, "Oh, she's like, go ahead, you can rest. And he's like, why? So you can, mind meld me and I'll give you the, and like got like, they were like fighting like siblings at that point. It was so cute.
So are you saying they're the Peter and Jan Brady of all of the MCU?
I think so. So I think if they kiss, I'll accept it.
That would be weird. Peter and Jan never kissed on the Brady Bunch. That would have been a little too far.
Yeah, but that was hinted at and joked about in the parody movie of the 90s.
Yeah, Marcia, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Marcia and Greg. Marcia and Greg, we all kind of know had something going on.
Oh, that's right.
okay.
That's
That would have been
right.
weird. That would have been weird.
I was like, someone kissed, didn't they?
Jazz says, love how Marvel's doing all of the hard-hitting topics in the Disney Plus series. We really have seen, through WandaVision, in terms of grief and struggle and things like that. And then obviously we got race relations, you know what I mean? And now we're getting some sexual fluidity, which is really fun to see. So maybe that's the natural progression is they do kiss just to show that it's okay, you know what I mean? Type of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Nostalgic Podblast says, has not seen Lamentis yet. So warning, Nostalgic Podblast, obviously spoilers up ahead. But they just want to say that they never doubt Marvel Studios. WandaVision proved that one should trust the MCU storytelling process. Watching from Atlanta. Yeah. 100%. And Jazz says at least the Bradys were step siblings. So,
Sure, it wasn't blood.
yeah. So that's just a quick note from our fans watching.
Yeah, you know what though, and I think that the Bradys needed to do like a 23andMe just to be certain. We really can't speak to that for certain.
True.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead. Sorry, buddy. You had something. It sounded like you were on something real great.
The only thing I'm on is sweet margaritas.
Great.
So.
My question then for you, Kevin, is: are you a Loki? Are you independent? Are you authoritative? And do you have style?
Well, I definitely worked at one point for a Fortune 500 company, which meant I went to work for the enemy as also that was the tacked on Are You a Loki? So in that sense, am I a Loki? Sure. I think, do I have style? Not really. I mean, I have t-shirts and red glasses. Is that style?
Yes. I think it is.
I'm a Loki. Well, you're in t-shirts and a blue glasses, so.
T-shirts. Also, can we talk about our new Kevin, we realized we need 6 Loki t-shirts. So I went to eBay and found this gem. Isn't this gorgeous? It's new Loki and older Loki and cute prison Loki. Oh, that's
Bane. I think that's Bane.
Is that Bane?
Yeah, that's Bane Loki. Yeah.
But I also consider myself a Loki. I think we all should. I think
Mike's
a Loki. You're a Loki, aren't you, Mike?
You've seen bow ties? Yes.
I think I'm like a Owen Wilson variant, and I'm excited to see sort of where those types of variant, again, another really interesting line from this episode was when, Sylvie said, don't call me acknowledged that they were a variant, but said, don't call me a Loki. And whatever, she might just be just fighting sort of that. Yeah, is indeed. But there is something interesting about being not just all Lokis, that they're just all variants, you know what I mean?
Right.
That caused rifts in the world, not gone through the typical paths they were supposed to. So I definitely think I'm a variant. I don't know if I would be specifically a Loki, but yeah.
Well, Mike, are you able to make a switch on the fly? Since you mentioned that, we were going to do that after, but we again, improvisers.
Totally do a switch on the fly.
Hell yeah, let's do that. So one of the things that is revealed, and I do apologize to anybody who hasn't seen the episode because there were little tidbits that were revealed. And one of the pieces that was revealed by Sylvie was that all of the TVA are variants, with the exception of, I don't think she said with the exception of Ravona, I can't say it, Ravona Renslayer. I did it. Yeah. It's because I wrote down Rowena Ravenclaw earlier, and now it's with the exception of her, everybody working at the TVA is a variant, which they themselves don't know this. So it got me thinking, who do we think Mobius could possibly be a variant of? Ooh.
I think we should have every transition from now on start with a ooh transition.
Chris and I have a little challenge, and if people want to write in the comments, are there any people in really anything, all of pop culture, but or the world? I live in pop culture, so that is the world to me.
That's my world. I don't have any other. I don't know other things.
What else is there, Chris? Do you have guesses on who you think it's possible that Mobius and Mobius might actually be?
I do. I can't see if. Am I able to see your view, Mike? So
Yeah, you will. You'll see. You want me to pop it up first, or do you want to like announce?
Okay.
This individual?
So my first pick, is someone from the '90s that I believe that Mobius could be because they are both German. Can you bring up?
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to get a better picture because it got cut off right here. But let me just fix it. Keep going.
We got some Hasselhoff going.
That's Hasselhoff. That's Hasselhoff.
I recognize me some Hasselhoff.
That's Hasselhoff. Okay, so that's my pick one.
Yeah.
Now my pick
That's a good
two.
guess. It's a good guess. Safe bet.
Thank you. My pick two of who Mobius could be is topical. If at the beginning of the quarantine you watched a ridiculous documentary about a man and some tigers.
Perfect. I see a theme here.
Now, I got serious with this next one. I did some intense Marvel, like, okay, who could this be? You know, like looked into the Fantastic Four sort of situation just because of some of the crossover of that. And
Owen Wilson is Reed Richards?
after much deliberation with myself and my cat, Agent Coulson, I truly believe that Mobius is this person.
Drum roll, please.
Who is it?
That's you, Kevin. That's you.
Is that me? Got to move it down a little bit. I almost wore. I could not find my fake mustaches. I have a whole bunch, and I was going to wear one the whole episode.
Yeah, you're also. I'm so sad you can't see it as well, but I put you in a Josta hat, and your Wave Runner is sponsored.
I did a Josta on the Wave Runner. Send me that picture. I'll make that my Facebook profile picture.
There we go.
Also,
There's a little
there
zoom for you.
It's also a picture of you from when you had hair, so it's you from the 90s.
There we go.
I didn't take this seriously at all. So what is your guess?
Well, and that's the problem, Chris. Like you and I, you have to be a jokester. I take everything in like very seriously. So Chris is dying right now.
I would also like to say thank you, Kevin, not being necessarily the graphic designer of the group, of keeping everything in 19:20, 16:9 ratio for me. Thank you.
I literally was just like, I gotta send these to Mike.
All good.
I'm the worst graphic designer I know.
Here's the thing. I feel that Mobius might actually be the boyfriend that is referred to by Sylvie when she says, my boyfriend, the postman, and we all know who that would be. Go ahead, Mike, and bring that up. For certain, he's got a mustache. I have a theme too. It's always a mustache.
It's just the mustache.
Yeah.
That's a good guess. Good guess.
Here's the thing. If you take the word a jet ski, and look, I'm going to go out and say that I don't feel I messed up because there are some wave runners that were referenced in their jet ski book, but jet skis, when I remember a jet ski, it was always you start off low, you come up high, but jet ski looks like it's changed, and that's fine. Some of these are Sea-Doos. Maybe they'll be our sponsor, Chris, a little Sea-Doo. I don't know. But if you take the word a jet ski and you switch the letters around, you get it's Jake. Jake from State Farm, which he's in a cubicle. He's excellent at his job. Could very well be Mobius.
That's an excellent guess.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you take a jet ski, it does say it's Jake. When I realized that today, I freaked out and I was like, this is better than if I figured out how Loki's going to end. But in all seriousness, I really thought this when we first started the series. I didn't know a whole lot about Mobius M. Mobius, but I found it interesting that his initials were MMM. Mobius M. Mobius. I don't know what that middle initial is. who knows, maybe Mobius. And I thought, what if he is with a mustache? There he is, J. Jonah Jameson, mustache, flat top. He looks like J. Jonah Jameson.
I almost guessed that until I had the better idea to put you on a jet ski.
Well, it is funny that we both were like, let's do a Photoshop of someone on a jet ski as the last one. So, but
these
there you
are
have it.
guesses. Mike, is anyone in the chat guessing who they think Mobius is?
I think people are just so stunned by this amazing bit that and no, there are some.
They've left. They're not talking about the show at all.
Gizmo Effect says they're just a soldier of misfortune. Jazz says they would back J.K. Simmons. Jazz also says Mobius. Don't you mean Ego? Ego, the planet? I don't know. That'd be a weird, but maybe one of the celestial. Maybe a celestial or something. Gizmo Effect also said, referring back to the episode, I did not think that the third episode was the weakest. I think that they just kind of expanded a few things and kind of unveiled some of the things that we were kind of wondering about.
Yes.
So those are the guests. I watched this episode like right before we went on, so I'm still kind of processing it. But I think a character that has gone under the radar a little bit, that could also come into play a little bit more. And I'll show you right now, is Miss Minutes. There was, before the series aired, there was an article by the director, Kate Herron, that said that Miss Minutes has an quote-unquote interesting arc for just a sassy timepiece. And we've seen Miss Minutes now like on a TV screen, but then also kind of like projected as well. And I wonder, again, if all of these people, like all of these parts of this timeline are things that have been sucked, you know what I mean, from like the world and kind of repurposed. You see her in a jail cell right there. I don't know. There was a lot of crazy imagery in that opening video that I thought was really cool. So anyway, just throwing out another, I'm interested to see if, and you know, more things happen with this sort of character in this universe.
I hope so. Because I also read somewhere that when the actors, like when Tom Hiddleston was doing that scene with her at the desk, like they just had like this green ball on a lamp that they had to look at, and it was like creepy, and they drew like a weird smiley face on it, and I was like, I love that sort of backstage fun. So I don't there's always memes out there that says, Tom, your Loki is showing, and I feel like this episode is an opposite of that, and it's Loki.
You think Loki's Tom was showing?
I think, Loki, your Tom is showing, which was amazing.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, before we came on the air, Chris was talking about an acquaintance of hers who had said, you know, she thought that Tom Hiddleston was kind of like, fangirl fodder.
Yeah.
Or, in fairness, fanboy fodder too. And then she said, but man, he can act. And I think that's what the beauty of this has been, is really every one of these series for Disney Plus has been showing the acting chops of all of these actors that sometimes don't. I mean, these are. I'm not a Hiddle hater, but like these are side characters. You know, these are characters that don't get a lot of screen time, and now they're getting not just a lot of screen time. They're filling an entire season, even if they are 6 episodes of a show, and we're getting so deep into them. And you can't fake it when it's just you. And you've seen it with Hiddleston. You've seen it with Anthony Mackie. You've seen it with Sebastian Stan. You've seen it with Elizabeth Olsen. You've seen it with Paul Bettany. And they just really are all bringing it. And it's been amazing to watch.
Well, the interesting thing, so I Saw the Light is a film that Tom Hiddleston was in with Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah. And I'm not a Hiddle hater. That's not even possible in my DNA. It wasn't my favorite Hiddles movie, but both of them were phenomenal in it. It just wasn't that well written and stuff like that.
Loved that movie, and she talks about it on Hot Ones. So if you ever watch Hot Ones on YouTube or I think it's on Netflix too. She's the most recent guest, and she talks about it.
Oh, that's fun. But it's like, I mean, he's just a brilliant actor. I've seen him in 2 plays now, and it's really cool to see that actually like some of these directors are giving these actors like room to actually show their craft, which sounds like so pretentious. But as someone that spent 2 years at an acting conservatory, I feel as though I can use the word craft.
Right. For anyone who doesn't know, Kristen is a peer to Danny DeVito. We bring it up a lot when you watch all the Remark episodes.
It's my claim to fame. Paul Rudd went to my school as well. Just the
Not
one.
as exciting. I'll take Penguin with Ant-Man. I'm sorry. It's this. Come on, I love me some Paul Rudd.
The only thing is, when we bring these up, it just reminds me that Danny DeVito is Danny DeVito, Paul Rudd is Ant-Man, and I am Kristen in my living room.
The host of Remark.
Host of Remark.
You know what? There does tend to be, speaking of Tom Hiddleston and his acting chops and his Loki showing and whatnot, there is a piece we typically do in Remark. Mike, what is that thing again?
Oh, yeah. How does it go again? Yes. It's time for another Hiddleston heartthrob hunkiness. Objectification. H3O. He sang through this episode. I actually thought that was my favorite moment. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Drunk Loki is great.
Loki is great.
Drunk in a
full Loki.
Full Loki.
Full Loki.
All right,
I just got a full Loki. All right.
Full Loki.
Here he is. Speaking of full Loki.
There he is. Look at this. Okay. So the funny thing is, Kevin and Mike had me choose the Tom photo that we would objectify this week. It took me 45 minutes to choose which photo we would be using.
Yeah.
And it's not even that we're objectifying just this photo. We're just objectifying him from the whole episode. And if you're just tuning in and are unfamiliar with why we would be objectifying a human being, well, when Kevin and I watch Hallmark films, we always objectify the male lead character because women have been objectified for way too long, and it's time for the men to be objectified. So we will be objectifying Loki every episode. But this is the photo I have chosen. This is Tom wearing a lovely blue turtleneck that matches his eyes brilliantly. We have that. Look, do you see how much Tom is showing through his Loki in this picture? This is what I'm talking about.
This could be like him at like a convention or something.
I've met this guy. When I met him, this is who I met. Ugh.
That's just COVID. He's got COVID hair going.
He's just got COVID hair. Yeah. All right. So we rate Tom 1 out of 10 hornies. How horny are you? And yes, there's a pun on that because of his Loki horns. All right. So Kevin, 1 out of 10 hornies. You pissed me off last week.
I know. I gave him a 3 last week. And then in emails, I subsequently brought him up to a 5 for Kristen. That wasn't enough. This picture is awesome. The one I had originally suggested was, and I had it, but then I was like, it makes sense for Kristen to pick the photo, was him when he's got his daggers in the TVA. But this is fantastic. And that one I probably would have given like an 8, maybe even a 9, because he looked awesome, like ready to fight in the TVA. This one here, because all of Tom is really shining through, that smile and those eyes, like the twinkle in his eyes, reminds me so much of Robin Williams, specifically Robin Williams as Popeye right here, and I loved it. So nostalgia and Robert Altman taking hold. I'm going to give this Loki a full Loki.
Oh,
10. He gets a
10. 10.
Hey.
Do we want to see the transition? This is the transition. Just for those of you for those of you playing at home, it goes from that to that.
Come on.
Wait, hold on. Go back one more just for a second. Because this. Let me, there it is. That Tom Hiddleston, that's him in Knives Out.
He's not in Knives Out yet.
I know, but that's what it looks like.
Do you have the, by a small chance, do you have the third option?
I do, but yes. Would you like to see it, Chris? I I'll bring it up because it actually goes into my rating, if that's cool.
Please do, because I'd like to hear yours. And obviously, please vote in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Well, so far we have some voting already going on. Gary Copestake Jr. only gave it a 1.5 horny.
Gary!
He's messing with you.
Yeah. Jazz, 8 to the episode, mostly to the singing. Nostalgic Pod Blast agrees with the Robin Williams comparison, Kevin. So you got some fans out there. All right. So I think I gave a shirtless was my highest so far, right? That was like an 8.5 or something like that. Yeah. I dialed it back last week with the I mean,
always ready.
I just I dialed it back a little bit last week with the tie, like the TVA sort of outfit. I hate turtlenecks, and I'm so sorry, Kristen, but I am gonna have to go with a 5.5, like a 5.5 for this week. He didn't look comfortable in it. It doesn't look like a Tom Loki type thing, but that brings me to your other image that you were talking about, because how about action mode Loki in his TVA outfit? That's this Loki that I'm looking for. The shirt was like sewn around him. Basically.
They literally were like, "Hang on, everyone."
Yeah. And so I'm going back, and I'm gonna up my TVA outfit score to an 8.7. Now my favorite. It's my favorite Loki look. It is nerdy. It's a great nerdy cosplay outfit that I feel like fits him perfectly and encompasses the world. And he chose to go back into it. I love when she was like, "Where's your uniform?" Because he chose to go back into this.
He wanted to be in it.
Yeah, and so anyway, this is still my favorite Loki so far.
That's a good score. And here's something. Mike, when you do this cosplay, I double dog dare you to literally just spray paint a shirt on. Not actually be a shirt.
Yeah, I'll get one of the body painters. That's what I'm built for, is that for sure.
I don't want to shock anyone out there when I give my rating of 1 out of 10 hornies. Clear, concise. We got to see this guy right here. Look at that smile. We learned that he is bisexual. We got to watch him be drunk. We got to listen to him sing. We got to watch him do a hair flip twice. And at one point, I don't know if you recall, but they're running through the planet and they get to that door. He opens it and he lets Sylvie go in first. Always a gentleman, even with meteors coming down. He gets a 10.
Not infinity this time.
No. I'm not going to break the rules anymore.
Can you go back for a second to him in his TVA?
Of course.
Outfit? I found this very interesting because, to your point, yes, he was in the guard's outfit on the train.
Right.
That's how he and Sylvie snuck onto the train, and together, he used his magic, she used her magic, and then when he got full. That's what they kept saying is full. They never said drunk. I don't know if that was a Disney thing or that was just how
maybe.
But he got thrown out the window, which was awesome, of the moving train. And when he was thrown out, he was wearing the jacket. And when he hit the ground, he was wearing the jacket. But when he came back into the frame, it was gone, which means there's a deleted scene out there, ladies and gentlemen. We need that deleted scene.
Yes. Kevin, thank you for bringing that up because A, I think he meant to get thrown out of the train.
I do too.
B, where did his jacket go?
No. Yeah.
I know magic-wise he can hide the device, and that's why he probably just showed her an illusion of it.
Right.
So did he leave it in the jacket so that maybe Mobius could track it and find? I don't know.
Oh.
I don't. Wow.
Yeah, give me that. Whoa, we need that just always ready to pick up. Whoa. That's fascinating. I don't know.
That's my theory. And also, I may have given him an infinity again this week when Sylvie screamed and he was like, "Did the screen help?" And she's like, "Yeah, you should try it sometime." They should have had him scream as well.
He will again. That will come. Absolutely. There's no reason to do that and have him not do it, but he'll scream again. Don't you worry.
I think so. So let's see here. What else did I write down? This entire chat of when she said, "Well, love is hate," and he's like, "Bling bling." Wait a minute, what was that? And I wrote it down.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
And then he went on to say, because I wrote it, love is a dagger. And we had last week, love is a battlefield. Guys, love can be whatever you want it to be.
That's right. She said also then love is mischief, which I loved as well.
Yeah.
But here's also the moment that I have a question for the universe of, do we think because of Tom's brilliant improv skills now from doing Thor Ragnarok and spending 5 minutes with me at Comic-Con, do you
Show
think...
Show the picture.
Hey.
Do you think Tom's improv skills came into play when he dropped that plate and they just kept going and he was like, well, that's a shame to let that go to waste? I don't think he was supposed to drop the plate. That's my guess.
Chris, I don't think he was supposed to say the line, I can't go backwards on a train, because it doesn't really make any sense. And then she looks around and goes, there are doors everywhere. Maybe. And maybe that whole scene was, they were fantastic.
They're fantastic. I loved it so much. He can't go backwards on a train. She's the one that has to sit facing the door, and there were 2 doors.
That's right.
You're mixing it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to, guys, don't forget, if we're saying things that are very wrong and you're like, what are you doing? Why do you have a panel?
Yeah.
Email us at remarktheshow@gmail.com, because we haven't gotten emailed yet. And we're very shocked because I'm pretty sure we're getting half of this wrong.
Right. Like the scene where the Submariner showed up and then the Silver Surfer came in. What did you think of that? Tell us in that email.
Well, that's like at the end of Goonies that Steven Spielberg chose to leave in like, well, the octopus was scary.
I know. And then you see years later, which was awesome because that's that deleted scene, and we all went and found it. And when we watched it, we're like, that made sense to come.
That made sense.
Yeah.
But every time he says it now, and I rewatch that movie once a month, but like, I just giggle.
Do you think Loki's jacket is the octopus?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yep.
Also, because Mobius was so like, put it on, put on your jacket. I think there's a tracker in that thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the jacket is tracking Loki.
I think you might be right.
Also, I'm rewatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and there is a tracking device and everything on that show. So I assume everything and everyone is being tracked.
So this is the point where we ask, what are your theories? And we ask you to put them in the chat. But before we do that, we have another sweet opener that goes like this.
That was it. That was the sweet opener, everybody. Nice job.
Yeah.
Love it. Go ahead, Kev.
Do you have theories and thoughts? I've got one big one that I can tell right now. In fact, if you can bring that picture up one more time of Tom standing there with Sylvie, right as I think at that point they're watching the Ark getting chopped in half and realize they're not going to get off this planet right here. Just mere moments before that happened, a huge tower starts to fall, and Loki stops the tower from falling and makes it go back up. And we all know Loki has magical powers. However, that did not seem like Loki's magic. That seemed like, and we talked about this last week, that he stole the time stone, and it felt like Loki actually turned time backwards in that moment.
100%.
I did notice it because I've watched it thrice now. And the smoke even goes backwards in the shot as well. But the thing with that is what he's such a tricky little minx, isn't he? I don't know what to trust and what
I believe scamp is what he is.
Mischievous scamp. But yeah, Kev, I'm not quite sure because I might be split on, is he discovering new powers because he's discovering truer him, just like his brother adopted, discovering sparkle fingers in Ragnarok. Like, as you start breaking down who you are, it seems to be in the Marvel universe, you discover actually your true power. So he has been knocked down from a high status, the highest.
You going for
He got knocked down. He gets up again and he moves things with his hands. So I think I'm more on that side than maybe the time stone.
The thing again with the time stone, here's why I'm kind of hooked into that, was Sylvie does not react at all. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't do anything. It's almost like she knew he was going to do this. And with her manipulation of time as well, because she's been jumping through time so often. I just felt like that was some weird moment that was, and there was a lot going on in that final scene as they're running. There's also somebody who runs by that grabs Loki's attention. He turns around, and I tried to freeze that image over and over. I mean, there was a point where I actually felt like it was somebody who had this Loki staff, like the Tesseract. What the hell is that called? The staff. Chris, you know.
Oh, sure. I'll tell you later.
Oh, yeah, tell me later. Somebody in the comments will know. Or you can email us at remarktheshow@gmail.com. It's the
scepter? The scepter? Scepter.
That's all it is? It doesn't have like a cooler name?
No, I do this in trivia all the time, and people get so mad at me. There's like Mjolnir, and then it's just like Loki's scepter.
Yeah. But that, I mean, it almost, and then if that's the case, if that's what is another Loki in that time, are all the Lokis in that time? And then to Kristen's point, that's why he wanted, maybe they arranged to meet on LAMENTIS?
I don't know. It's crazy. Well, because LAMENTIS was not one of the locations that bombed the timeline. So that's where I'm like, what? Because if you think about it right now, also, we got to just watch this small moment in this time, but there's so much happening outside of this that is, I don't.
We heard it briefly when they went back to the TVA and they were going for the gold elevators. We did hear the chaos that was going on over the loudspeakers, but
so here's something. I don't know if it's not a theory, guys. I offer questions. Okay, my theory question this week is.
It's not a theory, but it's a theory question.
If Sylvie was not interrupted by the hotness that is Tom Hiddleston's Loki, what would her full what would have the full events been that she wanted to finalize that apparently she's been planning for years? So like she asked the woman in her mind, we had that lovely cold opening just like ours. Great. And that's what I'm sort of like, there's my theory is, what is Sylvie's plan?
That was actually my biggest. That was probably my biggest. I hope that they explain it, because if they just let it go and it's like, oh, it was interrupted, that will be disappointing to me. Colors that look the same here. I'm googling all kinds of stuff in the background. That moment, Kevin, where the tower's falling and comes back up and it's reversing smoke. Very similar colors to another thing that happened in the MCU. And when he's down like on the streets, and I couldn't find a great picture of him on like the streets of I forget what like town or city they're in, but that's that big scene where the whole place is getting destroyed and he reverses it. Very similar feels to me for sure. There's
my fan theory is that they're going to bring Benedict in, Tom's going to be there, and they're going to make out, and then Kristen will have 300 in that same moment.
Oh man, tune in for that H3O.
I think I figured out my Mobius too, and how I think he plays in is a little bit of this type of action. That there are many, not actually Agent Smith from The Matrix, although that would be a sweet crossover, but that there are many Mobiuses, like Mobi.
Yeah, you have a picture of Mobi with his hoodie on.
Yeah, that's the DJ. The DJ. I don't know. I think maybe there are multiple Mobi also making their way throughout, and sort of are kind of them and Miss Minutes are kind of these sort of constructs of the timekeepers. These beings that they created. So anyway, that's what made me think.
That's actually like part 2 of my Mobius theory. Also,
you had no theory in this question, and now look at you've got parts and all moving parts, lots going on.
This is section A, clause 4 of my Mobius theory. Is based off of what Mike is saying. I also too, since I am rewatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., my mind is drawing a blank right now. But there's the brothers that there's multiples of that comedian. Oh my God! Someone in the chat just answer my question.
In the show, Eugene Cordero.
No. Like one's Jack, it's a comedian. His name is like 3 names, but it sounds like one name. Mike, help me.
Yeah,
Chat,
I know who you're talking about. He's playing. He keeps dying, and it keeps being.
He keeps dying, and they're like, "How many of there are there of you?" And he's like, 13. They fell for it anyway. So it's a little bit of that theory.
Is it Kenny from South Park?
It's Kenny. It's Kenny. You killed Kenny.
Patton
No.
Oswalt. Patton Oswalt plays him, right?
Patton Oswalt,
Yeah.
which always, when I first started hearing that name, I was like, Pat and Oswald?
I was going to say that's only 2 names.
people?
What do you need? Yeah. Chris, if it turns out that Mobius is a variant of Agent Coulson, who would you like to finish out the series on Remark with me, since you will be dead?
I can have Agent Coulson, my cat, just do the show.
That was one of our fan theory. That was actually a legit fan theory that got sent. Was it's been Agent Coulson this whole time?
So great.
Yeah.
That's what Tahiti was, even though Tahiti was actually just a terrible place and
device,
not
yeah.
a magical place. But here's the thing. So I did read somewhere that a lot of the shows like Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are not being considered in this iteration of the phase in Marvel Cinematic Universe, which kind of makes me a little bit mad. I mean, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Phil Coulson is my favorite. Like, I just think he's the perfect character to put in with all of these superheroes. Is so perfect and casted it perfectly. So I think I don't know. I would love in a world where, because none of the Avengers still know that Phil Coulson was alive.
Right, and to that point, he's not necessarily alive then.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but like, also like, oh my God, hello. Is that another timeline? Time travel. I need Bill and Ted immediately to explain this to me.
Mike, are there any theories that people are throwing out in the chat?
More questions?
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of covered majority of them in terms of maybe it's Coulson, maybe it's the variants, like we talked about back with Mobius is kind of in it. So that's like you kind of covered everyone's thoughts for sure.
Cool.
Oh, good. At least we're not just pulling this out of our butt.
We are. We wait for Mike to come up with ideas and we go, we agree.
Like,
yeah. One theory I saw, which I loved, was that the concept of who the postman would be Stan Lee, because he was the FedEx delivery man.
Oh.
You remember in Civil War delivering something to Tony Stank. So
Tony Stank? Oh, so good. So good.
It's possible. It is possible.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I missed. Oh my goodness. I loved it. The thing is, like I said at the top of the show, I do feel as though this episode was to give us a breath of fresh air and trust to learn who these folks are a lot deeper. So when they get to go do things further, which might get a little crazy train, we are on the road with them and we support them. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to get improv nerdy on you, but I will. You want to make sure the audience trusts your characters before you start going to crazy town, because if they don't care about you, they won't laugh as much. Thank you so much. This has been Kristen's Improv Corner.
Kristen's Improv Corner.
So I think I agree, and I think that might be why people were looking at this episode and were, I don't want to say let down, but they kept saying that it was filler and whatnot. It was the shortest episode so far, I believe, based on the time. I think they have them listed on IMDb. I might be wrong on that, but I think it's going to be the shortest episode of the entire series. We are halfway through the series at this point, and Tom Hiddleston in an interview said episodes 4 and 5 are just everything goes.
Can't wait.
So.
I think next episode I'm hoping is when we get to vote for Loki. Like, I want that whole situation to occur. And I do hope that we do find out what Sylvie's mission is. And I do hope we find out. I'm very, very excited to see Loki talk to Mobius and be like, "You're a variant." Yeah. And what Mobius decides in that moment,
if he says whoa. I will say this, as far as voting for Loki, I'm not certain I'm going to vote for him yet. I'd like to hear what his platform is, and I will make my decision based on that.
I think we immediately know what his platform is. It is independence, authority, and style, baby.
If we had only plugged everything, that's where we would have ended.
I'll do it again.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Plug everything.
So you can catch Remark the show It's available on Facebook. You can find Remark the Show on Instagram. We are on YouTube. As I said last week, we have reviewed tons and tons of Hallmark movies. If that's not your bag, it's not a lot of our fans' bag either. And we have awesome guests, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of bits like you're seeing here. So and we objectify every single actor. So it's sometimes worth maybe even just skimming through. But I think you'd get a kick out of watching those.
Just watch the Tyler Hines episodes.
Yeah, that's all you need. I think we've done 3 of them so far. You can find me personally at Your Hero Kevin at Instagram and what's the other one called? Twitter. So come find me. Follow me. I'll follow you. Yeah, it's one of those.
I already follow all of the things that Kevin does, and Kevin follows me on Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook, and now TikTok. At Chris N Katz. That's a KRIS and the word cats. And if anyone wants to email us at remarktheshow@gmail.com, please do. I still don't understand what I'm doing on TikTok, and Mima needs to understand what she's doing. I have 601 likes on one of my videos. Am I doing it right?
I guess. Sounds good, right?
Mike, what do you have to promote?
You can follow me at Mike G Does Things. I'm regularly here with Wizard World. At Wizard World, we just announced that we're coming to Chicago this October 15th through 17th. Yep. So join us. You can buy tickets now at wizardworld.com. Also check out all the fun content on YouTube, social media. You thought Remark was good. We have another group of fans that are going to be watching Rick and Morty this weekend. And there are a bunch of nerdy psychologists, and they're going to be breaking down the psychology of Rick and Morty on Saturday. So join us for that. Come on back next week for Remark Episode 1 for Kevin and Kristen. You know what I'm voting for?
What's that?
I'm voting for this guy, everybody.
He's got my vote.
Transition.
One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristen. Oh yeah.
Wave goodbye, everybody.
This is upset.
Wave goodbye. We will see you next time.
Hey.